Royals baseball at Kauffman Stadium on a warm, windy night. A good night to hit. The Royals scored 9 runs on Sunday, and now they host the Yankees, who lead the league in runs scored this year. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are coming up. The Baltimore Orioles came to town. They were in first place. The Royals swept them. Now the first place Yankees are in town, facing a very hot Royals team.
Yes, indeed, and that is what we're talking about. From the very beginning of the season, when we saw this offense go out there and do nothing, we were like perplexed. We were wondering what happened. Where's the runs? If you don't score any runs in this league, you don't win. Now look what they're doing. Averaging over 5 runs per game. The bags are starting to come, mainly Locaine, but how about that defense? Defense has been spectacular. That's championship caliber. That play right there by Jack, really, come on. Good hustle, but man, you got to have a closer in today's game to be able to get that win. The pin to win.
Not only do the Yankees lead the American League in runs per game, they also lead the league in home runs, and leading the way is second-year player Aaron Judge. Kansas City is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all, for less. The Yankees are in town. Their lineup is not filled with perennial all-stars and future Hall of Famers and marquee type players, but our Kubota Power Stats will tell us that they are playing like that.
They are playing well, but there's a new kid on the block that everyone's taking notice of. This young man is King Kong, and not just is he big physically, he can hit that ball a long way. We check out the rookie for the Yankees and see he's in the top 10 in a lot of power categories. First in homers. This guy can hit the ball out of any park, Yellowstone National Park included. Built for Yankee Stadium at Monument Park. It's going to get worn out by this kid by the time his career is over. Big power.
So the Yankees are scoring, the Royals are scoring. How about our pitching matchup tonight? Joel and Monty will break that down when we come back.
Royals and the Yankees, and first pitch coming up in just under 7.5 minutes. Welcome back to the cage. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Start of this series, and really the first of 7 games between these teams over the next week and a half. Let's talk pitching. Matchup of 2 veterans who have been off to a rough start this year.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at CC Sabathia, here's a guy that's one of the most dominant pitchers in the American League for a long time, looking to get things going. He's had a difficult time staying away from the big innings. Had some really big innings that hurt him. And Jason Hamill, we know he's had some really nice starts, but he cannot maintain that throughout. Hitters against him only 196 average against his slider. Love to see him command that fastball, get in situations where he can use that slider effectively.
Well, in the case of Hamill, he only has 1 career win here at Kauffman Stadium, but it was the last time he pitched here. In CC's case, only 3 pitchers in history have more visiting wins at Kauffman Stadium. Bert Blyleven, Mark Burley, and Justin Verlander are 1 ahead of him. The Royals will try to keep him right there, and in the last week, they have been excellent against the AL East. 6-1. Ryan and Hud are back after this.
Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Ford, going further so you can. Royals have won 4 straight. They've won 6 of their last 7. The Yankees are coming off their first series loss at home. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Both teams are coming off an off day. And a 3-game series begins when we come back. Stadium for the Royals and the Yankees. 83 degrees and warm, windy, not as windy as it was earlier this afternoon, but still an advantage for anything hitting the air to center field and left field. Here's the Yankees lineup, and it is not filled with marquee players. There's some good players in there, some good young players coming up, and yet they lead the American League, scoring 5.7 runs per game. They lead the league with 56 home runs, and it's not just a batter's box offense. They also run. The Yankees are third in the league in stolen bases.
It's a well-rounded ball club the Royals are going to play here, but you know the Royals are playing as good a baseball as they played all season this year, including spring training. So we'll see if Hamill can take that rock and do what he's supposed to do, stay on the corners and out of the middle. This year in 2017, Hamill, he's been featuring fastball, slider, change, curve. That's what he's thrown his whole career. The slider is the toughest pitch to hit. You can see 196, the opponent's only hitting that. Look, and he's got to be able to command the fastball ahead. He's got to get ahead, pitch downhill at 6'6". Dave Island wants him with that angle down on the corners if possible, and not be afraid to pitch away from contact, pitch to contact. Forward around the horn Royals defense, we're going to highlight the best left fielder there is in baseball. That's right. This year he's playing the best I've ever seen of anybody, any player ever. But look, it's just not this year. Since 2011, he's been the best in saving runs. Fantastic athlete and takes a lot of pride in his business.
Brett Gardner will lead off for the Yankees. And even their leadoff hitter has been hitting home runs. Brett Gardner has 7 already this year. That's tied for the second most on the Yankees. Hamill's fastball is a little bit high.
Hamill going from the stretch, not from his typical windup, to eliminate any unnecessary moving parts. Okay, just keep it simple. Try to get that angle downhill. He's got some good movement on his fastball. He's got a little two-seam run. Trust the defense.
And Kane runs that down for the first out. Hamill on one hand is not coming off a good start. He gave up 7 runs in 7 innings. He allowed runs in 4 of his first innings, but he hung in there and he saved the bullpen. That was the night after the 12-inning game. He went 7. And as a result, the bullpen has been fresh ever since and not weary if Hamill had to come out of that game in the 3rd or 4th inning. One down to Gary Sanchez. This year, there's been a lot of talk about young Aaron Judge. Last year, all the talk was about the young Gary Sanchez.
They should have. He had a tremendous season, both catching the ball behind the plate and hitting it.
The moment he was called up, he just started hitting. First player in Major League history with 11 home runs in his first 23 games, and that was just the beginning. That's to left center field. Kane on the run again. It goes by him, but get the feeling he knew that Alex was right there, and Sanchez has a 1-out single. Time for the mini Countryman player profile. Gary Sanchez ended up being 2nd for American League Rookie of the Year, which is saying a lot because he didn't have a full season with the Yankees. Signed back in 2009 for a big bonus. Fastest to 11 home runs in Major League history, fastest to 19 home runs in Major League history, and tied the record for fastest to 20 home runs in Major League history.
Young players continue to get in the record books, don't they? I mean, and he did all that in 201 at bats last year, so he's really Sanchez is an unproven player, but much success early.
And now to a very proven hitter, Matt Holliday, in his first year with the Yankees. He's their DH. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Holliday looks like he's trimmed up some. Doesn't look like he's as big as he has been in the past, but he's free and easy. New life. Full-time DH. Basically, they've tried him some at first base. He's a little bit more comfortable just slugging, though. First base is harder than it looks.
Two and 1. And he comes into this series swinging the bat well. 16 RBIs in his last 15 games, and good history with Jason Hamill.
Strong. Power to all fields.
Good slider. 2 and 2.
Hamill, more of a fly ball type pitcher. Has induced 1 ground ball double play this year. That's in 34 2/3 innings coming in.
Just outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Holliday hit a milestone earlier this year when he got his 2,000th career hit. It was back in April. Bonifacio's out in right field tonight, and he's got it for the 2nd out.
Tony Pena, wearing number 56, giving him a hard time about his son Francisco, about him with a little more pop than you got. He goes, "That's right, he has his mama's pop." So don't have his daddy's pop.
Well, he sure did over the weekend. His first Major League 2 home run game on Saturday.
I told him how crisply he hit those balls, and they were the loudest hits of the whole game. And it was impressive. He put some backspin on him. He just smiled. He says, "I saw him."
Starlin Castro takes a slider for a strike. He's off to a good start. And batting average is 4th best in the league. Tied for the most hits, 49. 4th in runs scored, and batting cleanup.
First time in his career this year he's doing this. It's because of his plate discipline. He's more selective with his pitches. His manager, Joe Girardi, was telling me. So 4th place. He goes, "Yeah, he's our best hitter. Well, I want him to drive in runs when guys get out there." He's hitting .314 with runners in scoring position. Thankfully, right now they're not in scoring position. He's got him down 0-2. See how he can handle this breaking ball.
9th year for Joe Girardi as manager of the Yankees. Under the chin. Salvi had a high target, and that ball rode into Castro. Line to center field. Kane is there, getting over. 3 fly ball outs, and the Yankees are scoreless. And here come the Royals, and they've been scoring runs over the past week. No score. Royals are coming up against CC Sabathia with this lineup. And as we told you at the top of the broadcast, Royals over the past week, they're averaging over 5 runs a game. They're back to stealing bases. They're winning close games. And they had an exciting one on Sunday to finish the sweep with the Orioles, down early 5-0 and won 9-8. Facing 36-year-old CC Sabathia, not the flame-throwing left-hander he once was.
No, and it's a good thing, because some of our guys would their eyes would be wide open going, really, their jaws would drop, because this guy, he used to bring it. I mean, 100 plus. He was the first. Oh man.
Well, it came in at 87, but it went out a lot faster than that, and just unfortunately Escobar hit it right to Headley, who saw a white flash appear before his eyes.
I mean to tell you, I mean that ball got on him in a split second, and he's very fortunate. Look at that. A lot of that's just self-defense to get out of the way. Whew. That's a hot shot, hot corner. Yankees defense. Gary Sanchez. He's a pretty good little catcher back there. 8 for 9 in stolen bases in 17. But look, this guy's got a really good throwing arm. He can catch and throw. It's going to be a test for our base runners. Although if they do steal, they'll be stealing off a CC. You never steal a base off a catcher, although it helps if you have a good, strong throwing arm. But you get your jump off the pitcher.
0-2 on Mike Moustakas. Had a huge 3-run home run in the 4th inning on Sunday, which tied the game at 5. He drove in 4 in that game. And on an 0-2 pitch, hits it hard into right center field, but Aaron Judge got a good read and runs it down. 2 lineouts for the Royals against Sabathia.
And that number 99 in right field, just don't get fooled by his size. At 6'8" and 265 pounds. He's an athlete. That guy can run. He's a tremendous athlete. I was talking to his college baseball coach. He went to the University of Fresno State. He was a Bulldog. Mike Batesel. I talked to him today because I knew their kid was coming. I'm friends with Mike, and I said, how about this young phenom? What's he like? He said, Hud, he's a sweetheart of a guy. And I said, well, what about his playing skills? He says, you know, he's one of the best athletes I've ever seen for his size. We used to come out and play. The baseball team would play 5-on-5 football in the center field area, and when he was a freshman, and no one could touch him. They couldn't even. It was a 2-hand touch game. He would outrun everyone. He couldn't. So anyway, he's a phenom. He thought he should have been a number one pick, but too many scouts said, he can't do this and he can't do that. But he's here now. Kid Judge.
0-2 on Kane. Laughing at himself with that swing, but he made contact. He's still up there. He got 6 hits in the Baltimore series, and he has a 6-game hitting streak. Right center field, and that'll be handled by Ellsbury. So a quick bottom of the 1st for Sabathia. He gets Escobar, Moustakas, and Kane on just 8 pitches. One base runner. Tonight's game is on AFN, the American Forces Network, in its 75th year, broadcasting to military personnel overseas in more than 107 countries and naval ships at sea. And we welcome you to Kauffman Stadium for the Royals and the Yankees. I want to say hello to a big Royals fan, Chris Moeller of the U.S. Air Force, whom we've seen in Surprise when he was at Luke Air Force Base and now serving our country in Japan, where Bud and I have spent part of our lifetime.
Nice going, Chris. Appreciate your support, buddy. Hope you enjoy the game tonight.
Escobar gets a big hop and throws out Judge for the first out of the second inning. Hamill got 3 fly ball outs in the first, gave up a single to Sanchez, and now with 1 out we'll get Jacoby Ellsbury. Got it in on his knuckles. Bonifacio makes a play. 2 down in the second inning. 3-game series with the Yankees tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night. Tomorrow, right back here on Fox Sports Kansas City. That'll be Jason Vargas against Michael Pineda. And then on Thursday, that game is on FS1. Danny Duffy and Jordan Montgomery pitching for the Yankees. All games start at 7:15. Coverage beginning at 6:30. Chase Headley with 2 down. Much better start to 2017 than 2016 for Chase Headley. He has 9 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs. Last year, he didn't get his first extra base hit until May 12th.
Oh, man, that's painful. I remember.
91st at bat when he got his first extra base hit.
Well, he's not exactly tearing it up now. He's 2 for his last 26. But he's playing third base because of CC. And when you're a left-handed pitcher like that and not overpowering like he once was, you're going to get a lot of action over there at third base and shortstop, because a lot of right-handed hitters will be pulling that ball over there. And sure enough, Eske, if he don't catch that ball, Eske gets a double on that ball if he gets by him. So he's a good defender. And he's not a bad hitter. He just is streaky.
He's got a Gold Glove on his resume. Just up and away. 3-2.
Doing all he can to stay out of the middle. But if you pitch to the middle and down, you have a chance to keep it in the yard with Locane out there in a 410-foot center field wall.
Still 3-2.
That's the whole idea in this ballpark. Pitch to the center of the park.
Headley has a 2-out base hit. And up comes Didi Gregorius. He's had a nice start to the season, which was a late start for him. He was one of the casualties of the World Baseball Classic. Bruised his right shoulder during the WBC and didn't join the Yankees this year until the end of April. Headley runs. Salvi from a knee. And Headley swipes second base. Number 5 for Headley. And 28 stolen bases for the Yankees.
Now, that throw by Salvi looks like maybe he didn't have a sense of urgency, but he wants to throw the ball down there anyway because of replay. So Escobar or whoever covers can keep the tag on him, maybe get an out. But they got a great jump off of Hamill.
0-2 on Gregorius. He could probably see out of the corner of his eye that Headley got a great jump.
Salvi sees everything, believe that. But Pedro Gaffal, his catching instructor, early in the season he wasn't throwing when he saw they got a good jump. Pedro said, hey, why don't you just get the ball down there anyway? Don't throw the ball away and rush. But then let Escobar keep the tag on him. If he comes off the tag, off the base, then we get an out. So with replay the way it is, it just pays to throw it there. Any way you can.
Broken bat. Merrifield plays it on a bounce. And Hamill works around a single in the first and a single in the second. No score. Takes us out to Anaheim. This is Mike Trout hitting a home run against the White Sox Mike Pelfrey. 4 home runs in 4 days. He was out for a while with a hamstring problem. He has 12 home runs this year, so the layoff didn't hurt him at all. His Angels are in second place in the West, but they are 8 games back of the Astros, who have the best record in the league. Hosmer hits it to the left of second base. Gregorius is there to throw him out. And CC Sabathia has gotten his first 4 outs, which is 9 pitches.
Tells me one thing. They're hunting that fastball early. And they should. Because CC, typically, when he's going good with his fastball, he'll cut it in on the righty. But if he's not cutting it, he's in trouble. See, fastball, slider, cut fastball, changeup. But they're hitting 340 off that fastball. That's why they're looking for that and hunting it early in the count. Slider is probably his most effective pitch.
That's his first pitch out of the strike zone tonight. 10 pitches, 9 strikes to the first 5 batters. Salvi got 2 days off. He didn't play on Sunday, and then yesterday was a scheduled off day for the Royals. 2 balls and no strikes, And Salvi's working on a hitting streak. He has a 9-gamer coming into tonight. Two and one. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. And a look at Salvi's hit streak. On base percentage over 500, slugging percentage over 600 during the streak. If he gets a hit tonight, that'll be the 8th time in his career he's had a hitting streak of 10 or more games. And he's ahead in the count. 3 balls, 1 strike.
That's right where he wants that pitch. It's a cutter in off the plate, not too much of the dish. Get it in. Salvi, that's an excellent take. That's a bat breaker right there waiting to happen.
Three and two.
Better off getting him in the first couple of innings, because once he settles in, he's pretty effective. But the first 2 innings, he has an ERA that's over 10. Opponent's hitting 364 early. 3+ innings, 2.88 ERA. Get him before he gets you.
Hit hard, and Gregorius with a leaning play. So Sabathia, on one hand, has retired the first 5 Royals, but 3 have been lineouts.
Solid contact. Just hit the top of the ball. It's up underneath it. He's going to get a base hit or more.
Two down to Jorge Bonifacio. Bonifacio goes the other way.
Another first pitch swinger right here on the outer half. Went with it. Had that right direction. See the head? His head on right there. Just kept it right there, looking to right field. Went with it.
When you come back from 5-0 and win 9-8 as the Royals did, there will be several important hits, and there were, but none more impressive than Jorge Soler's first home run as a Royal.
I'll say.
Two and 0.
You know, I call that a helium homer because it just looked like the ball had helium in it and just stayed up the whole way.
Over all 3 barriers in center field, off the concrete, which is the base of crown vision, and then ricocheted back over the walls again. High breaking balls in for a strike. 2 and 1.
Yeah, quite impressive.
So the padded wall, the concrete wall, the wood wall, and then there's a lot of area between the 3rd wall and the base of the scoreboard. Three and 1 with Alex Gordon on deck. Changeup. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Boy, perfect spot. Excellent command with that pitch. Right where he wanted. Got the swing and miss. Index finger connected to the thumb. All in the back 3 fingers. Same arm speed as the heater. Might throw it again. Oh.
Called 3rd strike with a slider. So the Royals are hitting the ball hard in the first 2 innings against Sabathia, but no score. Here's one of the Royals' recent good luck charms. That is Clay Walker, who just informed us that that is the 5th time that he has performed the national anthem here at Kauffman Stadium. And he's going to join us up here in the booth as the Yankees come to bat. You pointed out 5th time, 3rd time in the last 3 years, and you say the Royals have not lost when you have performed the national anthem.
Yeah, they don't lose when I'm here. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah,
we're going for 4-0. Here we go, right? 4 in a row.
Thanks for coming up to the booth.
Oh, Rex, I'm so happy to be here.
You've got a very special reason why you're here, and just going over some of the details of your, well, first of all, your career, but you were diagnosed with MS 21 years ago.
That's
I mean,
right.
if you were diagnosed 2 weeks, you look like a guy who is suffering from a debilitating disease like that, but that was 21 years ago.
It's amazing. When I was diagnosed, the prognosis was even worse than diagnosis. They said I would be in a wheelchair in 4 years and dead in 8. And it's been a great ride, though. I've been very blessed. I've been relapse free for 19 straight years in a row, and that wasn't easy. You know, formulating a game plan. You know, tonight we're celebrating Nurses Night here, and you know, I feel so blessed every time I see a nurse. I just want to hug them, because it was nurses and neurologists who helped formulate, you know, a game plan for me, and it obviously worked. And I wouldn't be able to be here with you guys tonight, celebrating this glorious night here at the K. Excited.
Right. Gosh, what a story. And I will tell you, my wife, Sarah, is here tonight. She's one of the nurses here, enjoying Nurses Appreciation Night.
Well, I love Sarah. I love you, Sarah.
Hey, before we get to while we're talking about families, as Carter gets a base hit to left field to begin the top of the 3rd inning, you've got baby number 6 coming this year.
Man, I'll tell you what.
Congratulations.
It's awesome. You know, and my wife is the greatest mom. We just celebrated Mother's Day, and it's so nice, you know, being told I'd be in a wheelchair in 4 years. And you know, this past Sunday I was down on the beach in Galveston running around with my kids, and they're all chasing me and covering me up in mud, and we're swimming, and I mean, I just look at that, and you know, it makes you rearrange your priorities for sure. You know, when you've been told you have a chronic illness and possibly one that'll kill you. I just been so blessed. You know, I'm happy to be here tonight. My friends over at Teva, who are big sponsors of the Royals, great people there. They're sponsoring the night tonight with the nurses as well. I want to say thank you, because I've learned so much about dealing with a chronic illness, a chronic disease. And you know, when I was diagnosed, the doctor didn't tell me there was anything I could do for it, and I just went home and I thought that was it. And you know, after getting with the right neurologist and the right nurses and getting a game plan together, I'm here with you guys celebrating this, you know, ready to watch some great baseball. Chase Headley, who's 3rd base for the Yankees, is one of my neighbors in Nashville. So I see him tonight, and I've been a Royals fan for about 17 years. I've come here, you know, every year for the past 17 years and done shows here, and then being able to come out tonight and just enjoy some of the food and festivities, the barbecue, and they're playing good. You know, the 3-game sweep over the Orioles. There's an unbelievable catch by Joaquin the other night. Unbelievable.
You got that right.
And Moose is playing great, you know, and Hosmer's not doing too bad these days either, is he?
No, he's not.
He's kind of looking pretty good for us.
Salvy's no slouch.
Salvy, God, I just laugh when I think of Salvy.
He's something. You know, as big as he is, he can maneuver.
He sure can, man.
Yeah, he gets around, and he lost 20 pounds in the offseason, and it's helped him not just moving around back there, but his offense too. He's getting the pitches. It looks so much better.
Well, I was hoping to see Duffy tonight, but I mean, this guy's doing pretty good, isn't he?
He's off to a good start. So you're supposed to be in a wheelchair in 4 years, and you were supposed to lose your battle to MS in 8 years. And again, that was 21 years ago. And not only have you beaten that, but to do it as a country music star. I mean, you're what, 4 platinum albums, right? I mean, you got to be on stage, you got to be in front of a crowd, you have to sing to the expectation of your fans. I mean, so if they said, the doctor said they couldn't do anything for you, what then did you do?
Well, you can't give up, you know, especially when you have children. You know, you got to be there for them. You know, Lou Gehrig was diagnosed with ALS when he played for the Yankees, and you know, every time I see the pinstripes, I think about him. And My aunt was diagnosed with ALS, and that is a much worse disease than multiple sclerosis. But when I was diagnosed with MS, I'd never heard of it. So getting the education that I needed to be able to win the battle, or to at least have some type of fighting chance, was important. And so I use the celebrity that I do have to bring awareness to it, to bring education. I do about 8 to 12 programs across the country every year. I wish I could do more, but I do what I can, and I get out and I speak about MS, and I talk to the people who have MS, and I encourage them, inspire them to do the best they can do with it, and I encourage them to try to find a medication with their neurologist that'll work for them, because not all medications work for every person. That's why this disease is so confounding. You know, so you know, I found something that worked for me, and so that I'm constantly telling people, you know, to get out there with your neurologist and get that game plan. You know, the Royals are going to win tonight because they have a game plan. And if you're going to win the battle against MS or any chronic illness, you have to have that game plan. You got to have a good coach.
Deep center field and gone. That is a 3-run home run for Gary Sanchez. Sanchez did nothing against the Royals when he was here last year, even though he's putting up big numbers against the league, and now he is singled and homered, and the Yankees take a 3-0 lead.
Well, Uncle Hud, I got to tell you, my good buddy Mark Lamberts told me to say hello to you. He said he doesn't know me from Adam. He said he's listening right now. And
Cool.
He was giving me all the stats. You know, he knows all the stats inside and out on every player.
I like that. Well, I'm glad you know all of us up here too, and I'm happy that we got a chance to share with you. And you know, if you had a message to send it to the nurses out there, what would you say?
I would say that we none of us could do it without you. Everyone on the earth, you know, at some point has been nursed. They've been touched by someone who cares for them. And nurses get into the medical business for the right reason. They care for human beings. They want to help them. And I would say that tonight my hat's off and my heart is out in the open, that I love each and every one of you. Thank you for what you've done for me. I more than likely would not be here had it not been for nurses and neurologists. Very blessed.
And literally your hat's off, because your
hat
cowboy
is
hat is up here right now. Can I touch it?
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's a way that you could put a headset on over that, he would have, because he was trying to figure out a way to do it.
Clay Walker cowboy hat right there.
This is the original hat. This is the hat that I wore my first time ever after I got a record deal. And this is from Mardi Gras here. See this paint right in here. We'll see if we can get that on the camera. Good camera.
Right there it is. Yeah, there's some paint there now.
A little bit of paint right there, face paint. Right inside there. This is the original hat. This hat is 23 years old. How about that?
Beauty.
Yeah, that's how long I've been doing this.
That's great.
And you say, you know, the first time you perform, but I love people, no matter what walk of life, if they have a dream and they decide, I'm not just going to do what everyone else expects me to do or what I'm supposed to do, but they do something that's outside of the box, you know. So if I have the details of your story correct, you were working at a gas station, right?
Among other jobs. I was working at a Super 8 motel. I was working at a gas station. I was working as a shoe salesman. 3 jobs at once.
And you had a demo cassette that you took to a radio station.
I did. That's correct. That is correct. The power of persistence, you know.
And radio stations, I mean, probably even today, you don't put non-published material on the air, right?
And the DJ took a chance. Believe it or not, he played the song on the air, KD97 in Beaumont, Texas. He played the song, and that started my career. People started to hear about me. His name was Gary Hayes. He's since passed, but what a great, you know, a guy just like you, gave me a chance. Somebody sitting in the same kind of chair you're sitting in said, you know what? And he said it on the air. He told me, I'm not going to play it because we're a reporting station and a reporter has to report everything they play. And he said it on the air that night. He goes, folks, he said, I'm probably going to lose my job. He said, but I listened to this song. He goes, and this kid deserves a chance. And he played the song, and the rest is history.
Isn't that great? So he had to be one of the first to get a Clay Walker platinum album for his studio, right?
He did. I think he got a dinner ticket, you know, to somewhere, his favorite restaurant or something too. But it's
what a great story.
And what a testament, you know, to the humanity that, you know, somebody would take a chance on a nobody. And anytime I get a chance to encourage or help somebody who's starting out, I I never dismiss that. You know,
Right.
I always try to give an encouraging word, because we all have dreams, and we all need to at least try to see if they will work. You know, did you think when you started out that you would be sitting here at one of the greatest empires, you know, in baseball, doing this?
I hoped I would. I mean, that was the goal, you know. But you're right. I mean, we all have someone to thank that took someone who probably wasn't ready for the next level and said, "I'm going to give you that chance," and you know, you're either going to sink or you're going to swim.
You know, I got to say something about the Royals. Ned Yost is one of the finest human beings that I've ever been around. Just one of the kindest and sincere people. You know, I was reading an article not too long ago about Mother Teresa. And I'm not comparing Ned Yost to Mother Teresa, but
That would be a first.
but when he talks to you, he's really talking to you. He's not looking through you, you know, or looking around you. He really talks to you, and so that says a lot, you know. And I would say that George Brett's spirit, you know, obviously he's here at a lot of the games. That fighting spirit is in this organization, this particular team, and what they've done over the last 4 or 5 years has been nothing less than incredible.
Better believe it. What you're doing, Clay, is encouraging all of us.
Yeah, no kidding,
Yeah.
man.
Way to go.
Thanks for spending some time with us.
Well, thank you, brother.
You know, we'll let you go be a fan now, because you said the Royals have never lost when you've been here, and we got a 3-run deficit to work on. So you better.
Well, I got a
Go
beer
work your
with my
magic.
name on it somewhere.
Yeah, and you know what? We can overcome that run.
Yeah, they
deficits.
did 5 on Sunday.
Exactly.
You know? Thanks a lot, Clay.
Thank you, brother.
Really
Way
a
to go.
pleasure to meet you in
Take care.
person.
Thanks,
and,
Clay.
Take care, brother.
Look forward to National Anthem number 6 here at Kauffman Stadium.
Hug a nurse
All right.
out there for us. And you're going to get out there amongst them.
Mike Moustakas, what a diving play, and throws out Aaron Judge to end the top of the 3rd inning. That is his best play of the year by far. Senior Adaptive Program Director for the YMCA Challenger Program for young people with physical, developmental, and intellectual special needs. Challenger serves over 1,500 area families, offering a variety of programs from swim lessons and flag football to social events like art classes. During her 8 years at the Y, Reagan has impacted the lives of thousands of people throughout her patience and understanding, and sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat at tonight's game.
Reagan. She works with Cade, my son, too. It's awesome. The challenges they do. The events they have on Saturdays is a blast. Kids love it. She's outstanding. Way to go, Reagan. Thank you so much for your service. That's right.
Alex Gordon, Whit Merrifield, and Alcides Escobar in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Gregorius charges in from behind second base. Alex is out, number 1. Tomorrow night, we'll have our Royals Charities broadcast auction as the Royals are taking on the Yankees. For more information, visit royals.com/broadcast auction for a list of items. We have a lot of fun with that every year, and the Royals will not disappoint again this year with some unique autographed memorabilia, baseball experience packages. So make sure you tune in tomorrow and bring your checkbook.
That's right. Royals Charities do a lot of wonderful things for people right here in Kansas City. All over the place. Wonderful organization. Man, this is fun. I can't wait.
With Merrifield with one out. 2-0.
Impressive that Clay Walker would come up here and spend a little time with us and share and encourage the people on MS, and you know, he's here to celebrate nurses. That's beautiful. He's all excited about going out in the crowd and finding any nurse he can and just hug them. I'm sure they won't mind hugging him.
2 balls, 1 strike.
But you know, he talked about George Brett a little bit. You know, he talked about the players out here. He talked about that willingness and that drive that they have to succeed, and that energy. You know, Kenny Singleton, the Yankee broadcaster, was telling me there was one teammate that he wishes was on his team. One teammate. And he goes, can you answer that, Hud? I go, I don't know. He goes, George Brett. So one guy, if you could have him on your team, that's who you want, because he played with energy, he played with fire, he was intense, you know, and we loved how he could hit. He's going to beat you. You wanted him on your team. Huge compliment to George, who just had a birthday, what, a couple days ago?
Still 2-2 on Merrifield. Speaking of George, having dinner with him and John Wathen and Jason Kendall at Capitol Grill in the Plaza is one of the items for the broadcast auction tomorrow.
Great.
Three and 2, top of the order coming up. Up the middle, base hit center field. Another hard hit ball for the Royals against Sabathia.
Found a hole. That ball was up. 3-2 count. Way to wait on it. He waited till that ball crossed the plate and got right on top of him. Then he fired those hands. Short, quick, compact stroke. That's how you do it. Didn't try to come out of his shoes, pull it out over the fence. Just get on base. Make something happen for the next guy.
With the exception of Gary Sanchez's 3-run home run, the hardest hit ball tonight might have been off the bat of Alcides Escobar on CC Sabathia's first pitch. He hit the daylights out of a Sabathia first pitch fastball, but hit it right to Chase Headley at third. One ball, 1 strike.
Royals doing much better hunting their pitch right down the middle. That ball should have been hit hard. Now Headley was like, whoo, thank you, glove. Hunt your pitch right out front.
One and 2 on Escobar.
Cutter's going to be hard to lay off of for Esky. Once you swing at it, he's going to come right back in there with it again.
Still 1 and 2. Nice crowd here tonight for the first of 3 with the Yankees. Out to Castro. No double play. Escobar's at first with 2 down. And now Mike Moustakas coming up against 36-year-old CC Sabathia. Our Toyota League leaders. Active major leaguers. Only Bartolo Colon has more wins than CC Sabathia. 10 more. Only Colon has pitched more innings, but CC Sabathia among active players has the most strikeouts and the most quality starts. This is his 17th major league season. Broken bat, and Carter will take it to the bag himself, and the Royals are down in the bottom of the 3rd. We'll also bring you Sporting KC's match against the Seattle Sounders. Royals Yankees here on Fox Sports Kansas City beginning at 6:30. Sporting KC on Fox Sports Kansas City Plus at 7 p.m. For channel listings, go to foxsportskansascity.com. Both games will also be streaming on Fox Sports Go. Jacoby Ellsbury takes a strike from Jason Hamill. Ellsbury flied out to right field in the 2nd inning. Yankees got all 3 runs on a Gary Sanchez home run in the 3rd inning. Hosmer gets a nice big hop, and there is 1 down. Let's go to Joel.
Well, Ryan, of course, we found out about the death of Steve Palermo on Sunday. Tragic news for everyone around baseball, certainly all of us here in Kansas City where he resided. But for the umpires, this was family for them. And, you know, we know Joe West has been around a long time, and certainly people have their opinions about him, but had the chance to go down and talk to him, interview him before the game for Price Chopper Royals Live. It was a different side of Joe West that maybe we had ever seen. Fighting back tears, he said to me that Steve taught me how to umpire at umpire school. He taught us things in life how to do. He taught us how to be moral and honest in your heart, do the things that are correct, which he said probably cost him his career in baseball. He said he taught us how to persevere, and on Sunday he said, as he was fighting back tears, he taught us how to die, but he didn't teach me how to cope with that. He said he's really going to miss his friends, all umpires around baseball, really just guys like anyone around baseball will miss the personality, the perseverance, and the good man that was Steve Palermo.
Wow, Joel. Great report. Thank you.
Alex makes a play in left field on Chase Headley, and there are 2 down. He was so interesting to talk to when it
came to the rules of the game, the umpires' responsibilities on the field, the nuances that an umpire has to deal with, many of which I was not aware of, but really made me understand. You know, sometimes when the correct call is not made, and all the different responsibilities that a umpire has on any given play. You know, we love to talk to third base coaches and all the things that they have to consider when the ball is put in play and their runners. Well, each umpire, when the ball is put in play, have the same amount of things that they have to consider: where to go, what to keep an eye on. You know, they shift from base to base depending on where the ball is in the situation. It's very fascinating talking to him.
Sure enough, I'm thankful that I was a young player when he was still umpiring on the field, and I remember several confrontations with the managers in my early years. You know, the Billy Martin and how volatile he was, and Earl Weaver, and they yelled. And I remember he stood up and stuck up for himself. He'd come walk into the dugout. He'd give you a peace of mind. But I liked how he had a sense of humor. He had a very nice, fun sense of humor. Even off the field, seeing him here in the parking lot, walking out in the parking lot, he'd go, "Oh, you again," and just really enjoyed life. And gosh, he's left such a legacy to others. That's what's really good about a person when they leave. What you can gain from them.
I told a story on Sunday when we announced his passing. I'd been on a local talk show, and there was a controversial play the night before, and I made some comment about an umpire. And I got to the stadium the next day, and he was waiting for me up in the dining room. And I came up the stairs, and he pointed one of his crutches at me and said, "I need to talk to you."
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. But we had a great talk. I mean, he was always sticking up for the umpires, and at the same time would admit when umpires make mistakes. I mean, that was his job, to evaluate the umpires. But it is not the same not seeing him walk through the doors of the press box and the dining room. Still 1-2 on Didi Gregorius. Think about how many times Joel would go to him in the middle of the game when there was a rule that we were unsure of, you know, or something happened. We're like, "Now what's going on?" Hopefully that gets cleared up in the years to come when umpires are talking about having a microphone on the field to clarify situations that are a mystery to us and to the fans. But he was really good both on and off the record with Joel, and sharing that information with us so that we could explain what was going on in the field.
Get it right. Meantime, Hamill, he's trying to find a way to get Gregorius out. And he's fouling off everything, every borderline pitch. He finally won it.
Got a pitch down, and maybe it wasn't even a strike. Gregorius is on with 2 down.
Tip your cap. Nice swing. It's a breaker.
Salvi's ready to backhand that thing out of the dirt.
Yeah, he stayed right on it. Excellent swing.
And now Chris Carter.
That curveball's Hamill's 4th best pitch. Now, he threw it there just to hopefully to get him to swing over the top of it. He's able to put it in play.
Strike to Carter. Last year, Chris Carter tied for the National League lead with 41 home runs with Colorado's Nolan Arenado, and was not offered a contract the next year by the Brewers. First time in history that a league leader in home runs was non-tendered the next year, so he became a free agent. And
now as a part-time player with the Yankees, has hit just 1 home run in his first 66 at-bats.
And up until recently, he's not getting a lot of regular plate appearances, so it's tough for timing, especially when you're a power hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike. At this time last year, he'd already hit 11 home runs and driven in 26.
That's because of the lack of plate appearances, but overall, he's batting 9th. That's what's amazing.
41 home runs last year, batting 9th this year. Big, strong man, and that ball's going to carry, and it will carry into the seats. And the New York Yankees, who already led the league before tonight with home runs, they've hit 2 more, driving in all 5 of their runs.
Two for 2 out of that 9 hole is Carter. Now he's just, anything that's left out over the plate like that's right in the middle, and he doesn't use hardly any lower half, although his hips are powerful. Very strong man, good level swing, under control. Just lets the power of his strength do the work.
And now Gardner takes outside, so a big, strong man who hit it high in the air to center field and got some help. That's the place to hit it tonight. Anything high in the air from straightaway center field to the left field corner is going to get a lot of help. 1-1 on Gardner.
I was in Girardi's office. He asked me where the flags were blowing. Where are they blowing? Is it across the field or is it blowing out? I said, I haven't been out there. He goes, I hope it's blowing right to left for his power hitters.
One and 2 on Gardner. Gardner walked after Chris Carter's base hit in the 3rd inning, and they both scored on the Gary Sanchez home run. Two and 2. Hamill got the first 2 outs. He got Ellsbury on a ground ball to first, Headley on a fly ball to left. And Gregorius is the one who really set the inning up. He had a long at bat with Hamill, fouled off some tough pitches, and it was his single that set the stage for the Chris Carter home run. Gardner's out, so are the Yankees. And for the 2nd consecutive game, the Royals are down 5-0 in the 4th inning.
to Cleveland again. We like showing that ballpark, especially when the opponents, the Rays, go deep on them. That's right. That was Corey Dickerson.
Wow, into the trees.
2 homers on the night. That is 7th and 8th. Currently 6-4, bottom of the 9th inning. Let's see if the Rays can hold on. He's hot. He was hot against us when we were there, Corey Dickerson.
Minnesota is trailing at Colorado 3-2.
Man, look at this league, man. Unbelievable. This is beautiful. If you're going to have a bad start, this is what you hope the rest of the league would do. Hardly nothing.
Chris Carter's 2-run home run gives the Yankees a 5-0 lead. CC Sabathia has held the Royals scoreless in 3 innings, but it's been noisy. Royals have 2 hits, but they have 4 hard hit outs. One and 2. Lorenzo flied to center his first time up.
That cutter inside, it's very tempting to swing at. It's hard to hit and square up with your barrel. Get little ground balls to the third baseman, and then he'll set up for the changeup away.
Second strikeout for Sabathia.
Cutter is designed exactly where it's put, just like that. Off of the plate. Gonna get some swing and misses, some jam shots. He's got his 5-0 lead. Now he's in the innings 3+, where he usually settles in, starts making his pitches.
Carter, short hop. Hosmer dives to the bag and he's out. Carter got a little casual on that play and it almost cost him. So Sabathia has 3 2/3 scoreless. It seemed like the right time to face him. He got off to a good start. This is the final year of that long, lucrative contract with the Yankees. 2-0, 1.47. But then, in his 4 starts before tonight, his ERA was over 9.5, with opponents slugging over 550. But tonight, he's given up just 2 singles in 3 2/3. Salvi got jammed, and Castro fades back into shallow center field. And now Sabathia, after an 8-pitch first, has a 7-pitch fourth. By the Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting full-size pickup on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. By Panera. Panera caters for every group, every size, every meal. And by Ram. Test drive a Ram truck at the Ram Drive and Discover sales event going on now. Nothing Yankees. And the Bronx Bombers have hit 2 bombs. The first off the bat of Gary Sanchez, who fouls away the first pitch from Jason Hamill. He's 2 for 2 tonight. First inning single, a 3-run home run in the 3rd. And then Chris Carter, with 2 outs in the 4th, hit a 2-run home run. Merrifield going across second base and throws out Sanchez, 1 away.
All right, we're going to show you some Yellowwood bringing the lumber, and this is the shot in case you missed it. Looked like a fastball right down the middle. Both pitches that were hit out tonight were pitches that were over the middle. One was a breaking ball, one was that fastball, and that's the 3rd home run for Gary Sanchez this season.
Fouled away by Matt Holliday. He's 0 for 2. Popped up. And Salvador Perez brings it down. It is that time of night where the rubbed up baseball blends in with the sky, but both Salvi and Moustakas were all over it. 2 down. There's no better way to enjoy a Royals game than with a group of friends, employees, or customers. You can receive discounted ticket rates and a complimentary message on the outfield scoreboard when you purchase 20 or more tickets. Large groups also have the opportunity for complimentary tickets. Also on-field presentations and batting practice field visits depending on your group size. 816-504-4040, or you can email group sales at royals.com for rates and availability. There's one of the dugout suites, which is packed tonight on the first base side. 0-2 on Starlin Castro. He is 0 for 2.
You know, Thursday's game, final game of this 3-game series, is going to be televised with FS1. I think I'm coming to the ballpark and I'm going to go sit out there at the Price Chopper patio, because that's what, you know, that's the place I want to go. You like the dugout suite? That'd be a fun place to watch too. But I might just go out there and invite myself, although I might have to have a special ticket though, don't you think?
For the Price Chopper patio?
Yeah. You don't think anybody can just go out there and sit there? Hey.
Well, you wear your
guy waving.
You wear your Zubas to Price Chopper. Maybe just put your Zubas on and go.
Hey, I had
there.
them on today. I went and got the car washed. I got my hair cut too, in my Zubas and my Royal top, man. Lady goes, "Oh, did you just wake up?" You betcha. Just get in the car and come on out.
The lady said that?
That's right.
Now, which lady would that be?
Well, she was the lady.
You make it seem like, you know, we've got like 3 ladies in town here. The lady said, "You just wake up."
My friend.
Okay. Aaron Judge has grounded out twice. One of his ground outs resulted in one of the best defensive plays the Royals have made this year. Ball 1 down and away. Judge hit a blur up the third base line with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Mike Moustakas, an impressive play, first of all, just to get the ball to stick in his glove, and then across the diamond he threw a strike to Hosmer. 1-1.
It was a beautiful play right when our guest Clay Walker was leaving.
I mean, you know, and then to gather yourself, get the ball and fire without even taking a crow hop shows off that arm. That was beautiful play.
One and two. Dangerous pitcher. That was a high changeup at 85 miles an hour.
Strong young man. You look at him, he's got an open stance. You know, he's got long arms, obviously, and legs. I mean, he can cover the outside part of the plate. You see him, he's back off the plate. He's from kind of open stance. And I know this year, they didn't see much of him last year, but the league is trying to pitch to him. Okay, they're trying to find holes. That's what they're always trying to do to a big hitter like him. You can try inside, bust him way in, or you can try to stay away in the corners, up and away, make him go that way, but he's got power to all fields. He's an inside out, right center field thinking hitter. So he likes to stay inside the ball. And he's going to look for mistakes out in front, out over.
Well, they found the holes last year, and David Cohn was on with Joel and Monty today during our pregame show, and Coney said he might have been a little overwhelmed and put some pressure on himself last year. He struck out in half of his at-bats, but he has had, as Coney put it, much better control of the strike zone this year.
Nice.
And not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. And he's already fouled off a couple of pitches down in the count. Now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's be important for him because you chase down, they'll continue to make you chase down.
Castro runs, and there's a shot to left field. Castro will keep running, and the Yankees with 2 outs have back-to-back singles. Last inning with 2 outs, they ended up getting 2 runs after the Carter home run.
Slider, it's in the middle.
So Castro at third, Judge at first for Jacoby Ellsbury. He is 0 for 2 tonight, but always seems to be at his best against the Royals. Right off of his foot. He might have hit that ball twice. Did he get it again on the backswing?
Might have, but you know, at least he's got that pad there all the way down by his ankle. I don't know if that's helped him or not, but he knows what he does. That's why he's got that pad there covering his foot.
.353 career average against the Royals. Among active players, only Dustin Pedroia and Ichiro Suzuki have a higher batting average against the Royals. One and one.
Good spot there. Away.
Travis Wood warms up in the Royals bullpen. Hamels at 92 pitches and 4 2/3 innings. One and two.
Staying on the corner.
There goes Judge, and that's taken outside. No throw. And we told you this in the first inning. You can get all caught up in the Yankees runs per game and all the home runs, which is significant, but there's some balance to their offense. Judge has his 3rd stolen base. The Yankees have 2 tonight, and they're 3rd in the league in that category. Will pop up. Salvi wants it, and he's got it. So this time around, Hamill works around the 2-out base hits. 5-0 New York. This Tuesday night, as you know, every Wednesday is student night presented by Inc. Magazine. Students can purchase tickets for only $10 with a valid student ID and enjoy a happy hour special at the Boulevard Rattler Station concession stand as you listen to live local music on the Outfield Experience stage before the game. So student night tomorrow. Jorge Bonifacio single to right field in the 2nd inning. One of 2 Royals hits in the first 4 innings against Sabathia. Could change his speeds, and now it's 1-1. Bonifacio, Soler, and Gordon coming up.
Fastball, slider, and the cutter's way in coming here.
Out over the plate, and Ellsbury was already playing shallow, so he just comes up a few strides, and there's 1 down.
Good swing, good approach by Bonifacio tonight. Some hard luck hitters right now for the Royals off of Sabathia. Hitting them hard right at him.
Soler took a called 3rd strike in the 2nd inning. And that's drilled toward the corner in left field. Cut off by Gardner. And Soler's digging for 2nd. And almost got around the tag. He was out by a mile, so he realized he had to be creative. But wasn't able to fully get around the tag of Castro.
Young players sometimes make mistakes like that. It's more of a mental mistake. When you're down by 5 runs, you got to play it safe. Now Rusty, I don't know if he tried to lasso him at first base or not, but Gardner got to that in plenty of time. Good outfielder, good speed, and got him by plenty. Almost did get around him. See, he took the hand away.
Whoa. Well, then he came off.
Yep. Great try.
Say that first stab at the bat,
yeah.
He might have been in there.
He did. But then his body was all miscombobulated there. It's kind of just like an octopus. He had arms and legs going everywhere.
Two 2-0 on Alex. Grounded out to short in the 3rd inning.
Aggressive mistakes are made by young players, and that's what part of the job is up here at the big leagues. Now you're developing players at this level.
Now, if there were 2 outs in the 9th inning in a 1-run game, and you got Chapman on the mound for the Yankees, chances are you're not going to string 3 hits together. Maybe you go for it there.
Take a chance. Yep, but not now.
.91, and that's about as high as Sabathia goes these days. And Alex reaches with 2 down. That's Sabathia's first walk. Well, the Royals know Sabathia. Sabathia knows the Royals. This is his 38th consecutive start, or 38th start against the Royals, going back to 2001 when he was 20 years old with the Cleveland Indians. He has the 2nd most wins among current pitchers against the Royals. Only Justin Verlander has more. Holtze went back and looked at Sabathia's debut against the Royals. Carlos Beltran led off, and A.J. Hinch batted 9th.
Wow. He's got a lot of miles on him. He's done a great job.
Gregorius out from short, and that'll do it. 56 pitches for Sabathia in 5 scoreless innings. As always, for only $35, you get a seat in left field, a limited edition Charlie Hustle brand t-shirt, and an Alex Gordon big head. Royals.com/theme tickets for Gordo Nation. Chase Headley takes outside on the 96 pitch thrown by Jason Hamill. So another rough start for him, but trying to go as deep as possible to lift the burden from the bullpen. And at the moment, there's nobody warming up behind him. Travis Wood was throwing in the Royals bullpen after Hamill gave up hits with 2 outs in the 5th. Lower third, Headley, Gregorius, and Carter for the Yankees. That'll be out of play.
Would be a bad opportunity to get Woody in there. He hadn't pitched since May 9th in Tampa.
One hop to Hosmer. He'll take it himself. 1 out. And now Didi Gregorius had a really good at bat with 2 outs and nobody on in the 4th inning. Hamill was ahead of him. Made some good pitcher's pitches, and now that's drilled to right center field and deep and off the top of the wall. So the complete opposite of his last at bat when he had to battle and finally got a somewhat hittable pitch and singled in front of the Carter home run. This time he jumps on Hamill's 100th pitch and doubles with 1 out.
It's looking good. Very compact with his swing. His last stroke he had a base hit with the center on the curveball was well struck.
And now they go back to work in the Royals bullpen. Chris Carter with 1 on 1 out. Bud mentioned he's getting more regular work, and that's because Greg Bird is on the disabled list with a right ankle bruise. He had a nice finish to the 2015 season, but then had surgery on his shoulder, which wiped out 2016. So they were excited to get him back this year. Really hadn't hit much before he went on the disabled list, but his absence means Chris Carter gets more at bats.
Yeah, they were so excited, the Yankee fans were, about him in spring training, this Bird guy. He hit 8 home runs and hit like 450. He had a great spring, and then he fouled a ball off his ankle, and it's hadn't been the same.
Hosmer to the dugout sweep, and that's the only reason he didn't make that play. Carter singled and scored on the Sanchez home run in the 3rd, and then he homered with almost a one-arm swing. But he's so strong, and he got it up in the air with that wind blasting out to left center field and hit his 2nd home run of the year. 2-2.
He doesn't overcommit. He doesn't have to. He's not jumping up there at all. He just sits back and sees it and swings. Very easy, these big guys that hit homers. Chris Davis, same way for the Orioles from the left side of the plate. But they look like they're not even trying. Just keep everything as still as possible, including the head.
Crack bat. Merrifield was guarding the middle. 2 outs, and Gregorius goes to 3rd. That's a good point, Hud. You know, in my mind, when I think of a guy who strikes out 200 times, I just think of a wild swinger. You know, I mean, he's pretty quiet and mechanically sound.
Exactly.
You know, you even mentioned Chris Davis, who's not a, well, he's more wild than Chris Carter is, but he's got that loopy undercut swing. I mean, he's got a nice level, quiet at the plate. At first glance, he wouldn't strike you as a 200 strikeout a year guy.
No, he really wouldn't.
Here's the swing on the home run. I mean, far from swinging from his heels.
Yeah, perfect balance. Top hand takeoff. Back underside, get some backspin.
Strike to Gardner. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Up the middle, Escobar dives to his feet.
Yeah. Very special. That's a Gold Glove caliber play there against the fast runner from the left side of the plate. Sweet.
Could have been 6-0 Yankees if not for the play by Escobar to end the top of the 6th inning, and now he'll lead off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Patricia Scott from Independence, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Patricia wins $100. Hit a home run on Sunday to reset the pot. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Patricia wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Escobar is lined to third and grounded into a fielder's choice. And he's lined to third again. This required a diving play by Headley. The other one, Escobar almost took Headley's teeth out. And we've seen some good infield defense tonight.
And that's exactly why Joe Girardi likes to play Headley over there when CC pitches. He's got good range, good glove. Look at him. It's a reaction position, obviously. And he makes a solid all-star play. Gold glove play. Now Gardner's probably saying, yeah, that's right. Escobar robbed me. I'm glad you got him.
Moustakas is lined to right and grounded out to first. Look out.
Chin music. Ooh. That'll wake you up. That's to set up the breaker away. He's got just very nice mechanics. If you look at him, he doesn't try to overdo it. He's had a long career. He's got great balance over the rubber. Separates his hands right over the top of that rubber. He's got excellent balances, and he goes, stays on top of the ball and downhill angle. Look at that. See, that's downhill. Good swing by Moose.
Gardner runs it down, 2 away. StubHub is your ticket out to once-in-a-lifetime experiences, from Kansas City Royals games to amazing concerts to shows you just don't want to miss. StubHub connects you with the world of live. StubHub, your ticket out, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Royals. 61 pitches for CC Sabathia to get 17 outs. 0-1 on Kane, who was flying to center and struck out. And he's certainly evolved over the years from that young Indians pitcher we were talking about an inning ago. 95, 96, 97 miles an hour with his fastball.
He's settled in now.
Castro goes out to get it. 63 pitches in 6 scoreless innings. STIHL dealer at stihldealers.com or search STIHL. By Dodge, test drive a Dodge Challenger or Charger at the Dodge Drive and Discover sales event going on now. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less. The offices of Kauffman Stadium. Quiet now because everyone is in the stadium watching the Royals and the Yankees. Jason Hamill is out after 6 innings, giving up 5 runs, 9 hits. He allowed home runs to Gary Sanchez, who leads off here in the 3rd, and Chris Carter. And Sanchez laid on a fastball from Seth Maness in a Chevy call to the bullpen, making his 2nd Royals appearance of the year.
Sinker, slider, 2-pitch mix. 88 to 90, maybe some 91, maybe 92. Got the win on Saturday.
Despite allowing a home run to the first batter he faced. One and 2 on Sanchez. He homered to center field in the 3rd inning. The Yankees were only here for 3 games last year, so it's a very thin sample size, but Sanchez had 15 at bats here at Kauffman Stadium. 3 hits, no home runs, no runs driven in.
They pitched him well.
Kane in and over from center, and Sanchez is 2 for 4. Summer vacation is right around the corner, so sign the kids up for Sluggers Blue Cruise so that they are ready to go to come out to Kauffman Stadium all geared up. This year's membership includes a Blue Crew jersey, a flat bill cap, special edition earbuds, Royals eye black, 2 home game ticket vouchers, and more, all for just $30. Royals.com/Blue Cruise. Sign them up right now. There's one of those flat billed caps.
That's right. Good looking crowd here tonight. Kind of weird tonight for me walking down through the concourse coming away. I had a little speaking engagement out there by the Hall of Fame suites out there, and I got to walk through the crowd all the way to the booth. It was fun, man, to see the people right before the game. They're all excited. I wanted to sit next to them and hang out with them.
Whoa. 2 and 2.
You're not usually down there that time of day, you know, right at 7 o'clock. I mean,
they would have loved to have you.
Nah, they wouldn't have. Most of them were going, "You're a bum."
Probably thought you were back in the Bronx again, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You're a bum on luck.
Eske down to a knee, has time to get Holiday.
Oh, Eske's putting on a clinic tonight. Soft hands, strong arm, quick feet. He's got it all for a shortstop. I'll tell you. You got to have. I asked him though the other day. Just so I know this, but I asked him, what comes first? What's the best thing you got? Your feet, your arm, your glove. He says my feet. So for a shortstop, you have to be able to move. As a middle infielder too, you got to be able to and set yourself up for the throw. Get yourself in the right position. And he's excellent at that.
Which we don't talk about enough. I mean, we're always mentioning a guy has good hands or he has a strong arm.
Right. Well, you got to have footwork. This guy knows that too. Castro plays shortstop and second base.
Merrifield watches it roll into center field. Castro has his second hit. So Aaron Judge comes to the plate with a man on. Our sprint trivia question tonight: name the last 2 rookies to lead the American League in home runs.
Mark McGwire.
That's what I was going to say. You took him out of my mouth. Ding, ding, ding.
That's one.
Okay. Albert Bell. Dave Kingman.
Lance Johnson. 2 hits for Aaron Judge. That refers to another trivia question.
Yeah, you know, sometimes guys just come to the top of my head. I can just throw them out there, you know.
If you weren't with us, we were in Chicago a few weeks ago.
One dog.
Trivia question was, how many 400 home run hitters in history once played for the White Sox? And your television analyst, ladies and gentlemen, Rex Hubler,
it was
suggested Lance Johnson.
It was late.
Who I think we discovered hit 34 in his entire career.
Oh, well. We found out the right answer.
A lot of base runners for the Yankees tonight with 2 outs. The 3rd out has been a challenge. And Ellsbury hits it foul off the right field line. He is 0 for 3. Al Kaline. No. Joe Charbonneau. Two and 1. Here's our first hint, Hud. Past Hosmer, and the Yankees again make the Royals pay for base runners with 2 outs. With 2 outs and nobody on, the Yankees get 3 straight singles, and their lead is 6-0.
Ball's up. If it's not down, they have a better chance of putting it in the outfield. Manus is a contact pitch to contact pitcher, but he's got to live down below the knees and hope that they hit it at him.
The clue, Hud, is the rookie, the other rookie who led the league in home runs aside from Mark McGwire, played for a current American League Central team.
Played.
So he played for the Indians, the Tigers, the
right.
Twins, the Royals, or the Twins, or the, what did I miss? White Sox. But it's not Lance Johnson.
How about
Hank Greenberg.
How about Ron Kittle?
That's a good guess.
Thank you.
Merrifield fields and throws out Headley, and that's the inning. Yankees get a run against Manus in the 7th. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. The Yankees lead the Royals 6-0.
from Detroit. Slugfest. And J.D. Martinez doing a lot of the damage. Go-ahead grand slam. Second homer of the game. And so just like the Royals and the Orioles on Sunday, it is the O's and the Tigers putting up a lot of offense. And Hud, because I know you're wondering, Lance Johnson had one career grand slam.
Thank you, Joe.
Got it.
All right, he's one of my favorites.
The one dog.
He's kind of like Warren Cromartie. Remember, you know how much I love him.
Yep. Yep.
He's a good answer every once in a while to throw out there. One dog. I bet CC pitched to a one dog at one time. He's been around. Wow, around the block. CC went through a period of time where he he dropped about 200 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever. He lost about. Well, he used to be bigger than he is now. But I mean,
I remember that year when he was 75 pounds. I remember that.
Hey, there's a knock by Haas. Hey now. Uh-oh.
Safe.
Nice.
Yankees run to the phone in their dugout. And Hosmer turns a ground ball, at least for the moment, a ground ball base hit to center into a hustling double.
Missed him there. And missed him there. How about that? Yeah, see, it's the old changeup slide. You get the ball beats you there, but you're left hung out there as you're trying to tag a leg. He shows you another leg.
Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Eric Hosmer has now reached base safely at home. 21 consecutive games to begin a season. Too shy of the Royals record. John Wathan and George Brett share that record. And now in the 7th inning, the Royals have their first runner beyond first base. Did we ever get to the bottom of the necklace?
We did not, but I can.
0-2 on Salvi. He's lined to short and flied to center field.
The day after you put me on task for that necklace right there, that was when they didn't have any BP and the locker rooms were blocked off and we couldn't get to anybody. But I will get to the bottom of that, I promise you. Archer had one on. Duffy. But Duffy didn't wear it.
Not Duffy.
No.
Adam Jones.
Adam Jones had one. That's right.
All right, they're giving us one last shot on the trivia question. From the 1950s, who was the other American League rookie, aside from Mark McGwire, to lead the league in home runs? 1950s for either the Indians.
Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson.
He started with the Reds. What team? Give us the team. Cleveland Indians, 1950s.
I thought Frank played for them. Al Rosen. That man came to my house and signed me when I was 17 years old. Al Rosen. I thought he was a Hall of Famer too all these years. He had good numbers. But I felt pretty proud when he showed up at my door in Fresno, California, wanted me to sign.
He was a Yankee scout?
He was a vice president of the New York Yankees.
Okay, wow, they sent the vice president to your house.
They did, and you know, he could care less about the signing. All the Yankees and Red Sox game was on the 4-channel TV we had. And he sat in front of that TV and we negotiated in the other room, my mom and Jack Butterfield. Al Rosen. Good call.
Third baseman, right?
They tricked us tonight on the question.
So Bathiep has thrown 72 pitches. just foul outside of third base. Bonifacio has singled to right and lined to center.
Cool.
Well, there's been a lot of that over the past week, but not so far tonight, as Sabathia has held the Royals to 4 hits. There's been a lot of hard hit outs, but no runs, 4 hits in 6 1/3 innings. He went around. Bonifacio doesn't like it. The Royals dugout doesn't like it. Sanchez tags him out, and that's 4 strikeouts for Sabathia.
Just like we promised you earlier, or didn't promise you, we told you that if you can't get him the first couple of innings and he settles down, you're in trouble. And that's what's happened. They hit him hard, but they didn't have any luck at all. And that sometimes, you know, pitchers get bad luck, but this happened to be CC's night, and he's cruising. Because after the 3rd inning on, he just has a 202 opponent average, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. Settling in. And especially as efficient as his pitch count has been.
Well, how do you get to 75 pitches in 6 2/3 innings? He's only walked 1. He's only allowed 4 hits, and he has had 4 innings tonight where he's had 10 or fewer pitches. 4. Now you have 1 of those in a night and you're happy.
Yeah.
One and one on Soler. He is singled and struck out. 8 in the first, 7 in the fourth, 10 in the fifth, and 8 in the sixth.
Girardi told me when he struggles, he has a hard time getting his cutter in, and he hasn't had that problem tonight. He's cutting it in.
That's right. A good one right there.
And so he's been on with that pitch. That's an effective pitch to righties. And you'll get a lot of them to swing off him. Locane hasn't been able to lay off him any of them tonight. And it's hard because you're looking in there. He's not as overpowering as he used to be. You're looking inside. You want to turn and burn on one.
Now Sanchez goes out to have a chat with him. He's a veteran, so while most pitchers become more hittable the longer the game goes, Sabathia saves some pitches for a 3rd time through. Royals are in the middle of their 3rd time through right now, and they are 1 for 6. Full count. And Soler takes a walk. That is Sabathia's 2nd. And now they're working in the Yankee bullpen. And Larry Rothschild, Yankees pitching coach, walks out to have a chat with Sabathia. And when you walk these days, it doesn't leave you much time once you get out to the mound, with the new rule as to how long a coach or a manager can visit the mound. So we're at 0, and home plate umpire Lance Barrett goes out, and Larry Rothschild hits the road. MLB.com At Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Royals baseball. You can customize At Bat with home screen icons, live scores, news, stats, video highlights, radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB.com At Bat today. First time the Royals have had 2 base runners in any inning tonight. Slider for a strike to Alex. He is grounded out to short and walked. And that makes Alex 1 for his last 32. No balls, 2 strikes. Tyler Clippard warms up in the Yankee bullpen. One ball and 2 strikes. Gregorius, Castro, and Carter are covering the right side, and we've been showing you during this homestand the wide difference in Alex's batting average when he pulls the ball versus when he uses the middle of the field or goes to the opposite field. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's hitting ground balls at a rate much higher than any other year in his career. And what the league has gotten him to do is get him to hook things to the right side. That's not working for him. But 262 when he uses the middle and goes to the opposite field.
He's just having a hard time making that adjustment in game time. When it's live and they're spinning it, they're doing all that, and plus they're pitching him inside, and he wants to. The worst way. There it is. It's a good idea though.
Headley bounces it. Alex has an infield single to extend the inning.
It's the right idea right there. You see how he waited till the last minute, and that looked funky, but that's what he's going to have to do to get out of it. He's going to have to take more swings like that. That's inside. That's an inside part of the plate, and he went that way. And a lot of defenses with nobody on base, they're not going to be. They wouldn't catch that ball because they're not defending him that way. Beat it out. You've already seen enough. Probably pretty happy with what CC's done today.
Got to be thrilled. Sabatia's ERA in his previous 4 starts was almost 9, and now Tyler Clippard is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Well, the first real big scoring opportunity for the Royals tonight. Bases loaded, 2 down. Whit Merrifield coming up. Tyler Clippard is out of the Yankee bullpen. 17 games and a 1.17 ERA.
Yeah, look at that, 21 strikeouts and 15 in the third. Tells me either he's overpowering guys or he's finessing them, and he's got a good pitch, and that would be his changeup. It's a filthy one. Fastball, slider, change. 6'3", 200, moving parts, 32-year-old veteran. He'll be tough. He's got a great changeup. He'll throw it early and often.
There it was, 79 miles an hour. Hosmer had a hustling double to open the inning. Then Sabathia struck out 2. Soler walked, and Gordon just reached with an infield single. Witt is 1 for 2 tonight. Fastball at 91. So 79 with the first pitch, which probably made 91 look more like 98.
So most pitchers will come out with the first pitch fastball, but not with the bases loaded, because he knows that a lot of hitters are looking for that. So he goes changeup, then fastball. And same difference. It messed up the timing.
Still 0-2.
Right idea. That's how you hit that when it fades down and away like that. Go with it. Keep the line moving with 2 outs here. Funky looking pitch there. Change up and a couple of different speeds.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Both teams had an off day yesterday, and the Yankees really needed it. They had a doubleheader on Sunday, and Joe Girardi needed 14 innings from his bullpen. And over their previous 5 games, Joe Girardi has averaged more than 4 innings from his bullpen. So that was a much needed day off. 2-2. Before this inning, the Royals did not have 1 runner past first base, and they didn't have 1 inning with more than 1 base runner. Now here they are, down by 6 in the 7th inning with the bases loaded. Did he go? He did. Very rare for Witt to swing at a pitch like that. And the Royals strand 3 in the 7th. baseball, Jake Marisnick at Miami tonight with his first career 2-home run game. Houston won that game 12-2. Freddie Freeman hit his 14th home run at Toronto. That ties Aaron Judge for the major league lead, and Yu Darvish gives up 1 run and strikes out 9 in 7 innings against the Phillies. Now Texas, with that performance, on their way to their 7th consecutive win. Travis Wood will get the top of the 8th inning. He's the 3rd Royals pitcher tonight.
Woody's going to go with an 87 and 92 mile-an-hour fastball, cutter, curve change, slider. He's got all 4, 5 if you throw in the cutter.
Didi Gregorius, 2 hits, a run scored, batting 8th. Chris Carter batting 9th. We'll follow him in the top of the order. Two and 1 on Gregorius, who to this point seems like he's handled taking over at shortstop for Derek Jeter just fine. Jeter had his number retired by the Yankees on Sunday. Gregorius last year had a career season for the Yankees. 2015 was his first year as Yankees shortstop, regular shortstop. Three and 2.
Yeah, you know, they wanted somebody young, somebody that had a high ceiling. Potentially, he's in his 4th year in the big leagues, and it took him a while because, you know, it was tough, a lot of pressure there. He struggled, then he started getting the hang of it, and had a lot of support there from his teammates. Girardi.
That's a heck of an assignment. I mean, number one, to play in New York as a full-time shortstop for the first time in his career, and you go in there following Jeter. But they knew what they were looking for.
You know, career high 20 homers, 70 ribbies last year, 32 doubles. In 2015, he played 155 games, and then in 16, 153. So consistent guy who could play a lot of innings, a lot of games.
Leadoff walk.
Our Jeep drive of the game, we're going to show you Chris Carter. He teed off on his 2nd of the year. Breaking ball over the middle of the plate. Big strong guy. He's caught the ball, a little back underside, got some backspin, sent it right over the boulevard side. See that boulevard? Makes me think, local product.
That will land on the dugout suite roof and back into the crowd. Just under 31,000 here tonight. 30,878 on a T-shirt Tuesday. He went around. It's 0-2. One and 2 on Carter. A shot. Foul. Man, ball's hit hard.
Short, compact.
You know, Chris Carter, when he got to the big leagues, he started 0 for 33.
Wow. That's tough. You'd have to have a pretty patient manager to be able to put up with that.
And you have to be a pretty confident guy, because you get to the highest level and you can't help but ask yourself, do I belong here?
Wow.
0 for 33 before he got his first big league hit. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And when his drought reached 0 for 33, that was the longest for a non-pitcher since 1972. Doesn't look like a 200 strikeout guy tonight. I mean, that time he went almost down to a knee to foul that pitch away.
Staying short with a swing, single and a homer.
Base hit right field. So he's used the entire field tonight. He is single to left, he is homered to center, and now he is single to right. And now Travis Wood needs a ground ball and a double play with Brett Gardner coming up. And every time the Royals turn a double play, the next day McDouble sandwiches are only $1 at participating McDonald's in the greater KC, St. Joe, and Lawrence areas. Brett Gardner is grounded into a grand total of 1 double play.
Hard to do it, but if he hits it on the nose right to Whitley, they can do it. I remember when Ichiro Suzuki should have just gotten the league, and he'd fall out of that batter's box on the left side and slap and run, and no one could double him up. And I was talking about, well, you're never going to double this guy up. What's he do? He hits a bullet right to the second baseman. They doubled him up, barely. But you know, some guys from the left side like that, they're a step closer to first. You can't get them.
Line to right field, and Bonifacio got crossed up. Did he catch it? They're going to say no, but the Royals will get a force at second base. Bonifacio is pointing to the dugout because he thinks he caught it. So the Royals either get 1 out or they get 2 outs here.
Oh, that's a catch.
It looked like he caught it.
That's a catch. There was no grass. That was all leather it landed into. Yeah, they'll have to look at this one over here, and then should get a double play. You could tell how he came up with it. He come up with it like he caught it, and he did. It's right in the glove.
Now a trap play on the infield is a non-reviewable play.
Yeah, they got a replay.
But a so-called catch / no catch in the outfield is a reviewable play.
Yeah, that's what Ned said. He said, I want a replay. One heck of a play. I mean, that was that was a sinking topspin liner. Wasn't sure on contact, you know, if he had to come in, or how fast.
So what do you do here? See, he catches this ball, right? Let's assume that they're going to rule this a catch. Well, I guess you just exchange the base runners here, right? Gardner's out, and do you allow Carter to go back to first base because they throw in, and if they rule that Hosmer tagged Carter right there. You could say he was out no matter what the call was. But
Gregorius did not tag up at second, and when the throw came in, Escobar touched second base.
Right, so
should be a double play.
But then, do you hold the runners accountable for what they do on the bases if they're just doing what the umpires tell them to do?
Interesting.
Do you get the extra outs? I mean, good points, Hud. I mean, is it Gregorius' fault for not tagging and going to third when he looks at the umpire and the umpire says no catch? So probably the best you're hoping for right here is just one out. And do you allow Gregorius to go back to second base? And do you allow Carter to go back to first base, even though it looked like Hosmer came pretty close to tagging him out?
Yeah, in all fairness, that's what they'll have to do.
It's probably what they're doing right now, is sorting out where to put the base runners.
Yeah. Okay, now look at Gregorius. See here, right here? Gregorius is right there. He's not going to go back and touch the base. He's just going to go on in advance. So there's one out, 2 outs. Eski hit the bag, but
Gregorius was not going to third base at his own peril. Okay, and it looks like Hosmer missed Carter. Gregorius was not going to third base at his own peril. He was going to third base because the umpire said no catch. So how do you penalize him?
Let's see.
Because in my opinion, he is in an area where if he sees the umpire say it's a catch, he's got time to get back to second base.
They'll send him back to second.
So I think we're probably looking at 1 out.
Yep.
And Carter at first and Gregorius at second base.
Yeah, they'll have to. They can go back.
I mean, the discussion right now has to be the base runners, because we haven't seen an angle yet that doesn't show anything but Bonifacio making the catch. Like if he says out, look at where Gregorius is. He's got time to get back to second base.
I don't see an umpire with a safe sign.
The first base umpire.
That's his
first
call.
base umpire,
Okay.
Stu Sherwater.
He's over there. I was looking at the other 2 umpires. Still, that's tough. I mean, you know, if you're running out there, you're doing the best you can to see if it's trapped or not. You're not necessarily looking around for umpires you're trying to react on the play.
Now Joe Girardi is talking with Joe Espada, his third base coach. See, Joe Espada saying safe. So Joe Girardi is, I'll bet his replay guy has told him, okay, he made the catch. So it looks like Gardner's going to be out. But now Joe Girardi wants to see, what are you going to do with the base runners? And we're about to find out.
Yeah, you go back.
That's what he did. And now Ned Yost wants to go out and talk it over with Joe West. That's exactly what happened. Gregorius gets second base. Carter gets first base. And if I can read Joe West's lips, I think Joe West said, we said safe, and that's why. I didn't see the rest of it, and that's why he went to third base. So the call is overturned. It's a catch in right field, a good catch in right field by Bonifacio. And now first and second with 1 out for Sanchez.
Boy, that was a good catch. Tough read.
Two balls and no strikes. Before Ned Yost came out and asked for the challenge, I'd said that trap plays on the infield are not reviewable, and that's because one of the reasons is that everything's happened so much faster on the infield that what do you do with all the base runners when you're talking about force plays? At least in the outfield, there's time for the runners to freeze and react to what the outfielder does and have time to find an umpire and get a call and then react otherwise. But now you're talking about bringing in the infield fly rule when you're talking about plays on the infield. So
nope, makes a lot of sense.
non-reviewable.
Makes sense.
Now Sanchez walks, and they're loaded up for Matt Holliday. Travis Wood has walked 2 in the inning, and if there's one number, if you're scanning Travis Wood's numbers from this year and you're saying, gosh, what happened? It would be walks. He has now pitched 11 2/3 innings, and he has walked 12.
Wow. And definitely not like him. And I know we've asked Ned Yost, and I've talked to Dave Island about Travis Wood and some of the issues, and they said he doesn't have a track record like any of this is showing us right here. He's strongly throws strikes. He's got great numbers against lefties and righties, and he's having a tough time getting going. And he hasn't, last time he pitched was in Tampa, May 9th. Hard to get consistent numbers when you're not given a chance to pitch all that time, but he's doing the best he can.
It's the forever argument between a player and a coach. The player says, if you played me more, I'd do better. And the coach says, if you play better, I'll play you more.
Yeah, it's tough.
Al Albuquerque warming up in the Royals bullpen. Moustakas, diving play, out at second. No double play, and the Yankees get a run. And the Royals defense has come up big for Travis Wood in this inning.
Oh, I'm telling you, that was beautiful. I could have almost got it done here. That if that gets through, well, it's a whole heap of runs that could come in there. Moose thought about tagging third, says no, we can get Holiday, and good try.
So the leadoff walk leads to a run, and now first and third with 2 down. And Wood's former teammate in Chicago, Starlin Castro. Oh, 2. Castro has 2 hits. The Yankees have 13 tonight. Escobar to the middle, and to Merrifield to end the inning. It took 3 good defensive plays to get the Royals out of the 8th inning, and the Yankees add to their lead. Game break, and we go north on I-35 to Target Field. That's Charlie Blackmon with a 2-run home run in the 6th inning. And the Colorado Rockies have a 7-3 lead at Minnesota. That game is in the bottom of the 8th inning. Minnesota leads our division by a half game. Colorado, by the way, leads the National League West. A 2-game lead over the Dodgers. Bud Black in his first year as Rockies manager. Tyler Clippard begins the bottom of the 8th inning and throws ball 1 to Alcides Escobar, who is a hard luck 0 for 3 tonight. He has lined to third twice, and he's grounded out. Talking about hard luck, Tyler Clippard. He was the losing pitcher for the Mets in Game 4 of the World Series. That was the game where Daniel Murphy had that error at second base. The Royals had the late rally. Tyler Clippard was on the mound in that game.
That's right.
2 balls and 1 strike. And speaking of the 2015 World Series, nice to hear today that Christian Colon was picked up by the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I heard that. Way to go, CC. Marlins got him a good player that can play off the bench, pinch hit.
Grounded right to Castro. 1 down.
I thought a National League team would pick him up.
Refreshing saves from Price Chopper and Aquafina. Sign up at mypricechopper.com to save on Aquafina when the Royals get a save. Mike Moustakas with 1 out, and he lines it to the gap in right center field. Aaron Judge cuts it off, and Moustakas is 1 for 4.
Little breaking ball, stayed out. Look at his head position. Like that, how he went out and got that. Good swing.
That error, by the way, in Game 4 was off the bat of Eric Hosmer, and Jerry's Familia was on the mound, but Clippard's run scored.
Oh, okay. I remember seeing Clippard out there.
That'll get Moustakas down to second base.
Clippard is going 90 to 92 with his fastball, curve, and a couple different changeups. Very good pitches. One coming here.
.78 miles an hour. Judge into foul ground. 2 outs. Kane is 0 for 4.
In case you're wondering,
I am.
Yeah, Aaron Judge, he just threw that ball flat-footed all the way to Didi. He threw 95 miles an hour in high school too, by the way. He wasn't a pitcher.
He looks like the kind of guy that could just stand up against a wall with all the coaches of all the sports standing in front of him and just say, take your pick. You can play football. He wanted to play basketball. His dream was to be an NBA player. No balls, 1 strike. Hosmer's 1 for 3 with a hustling double. Ended up being the Yankees' first-round pick in 2013 out of Fresno State. Aaron Judge.
6'7", 282. Baseball player.
Take your pick.
And moves, runs. He's got 3 steals already. He could probably steal 15 bags. Good kid. Met him today. Nice guy. Good manners. Well respected. Respectful.
That's chop foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Royals' 9-game losing streak ended as April ended. They are 9-5 in May, with Eric Hosmer right in the middle of it. Second highest average in the major leagues in May. Second most hits. Third highest on base percentage.
Yeah, we knew when that calendar changed, it could only go one way. It had to go up. Oz called the month of April a disaster. And no one saw it coming. I saw a very confident team leaving spring training that was, all right, let's do it. Let's get back to where we know we can do it. And they still might get there. It's just going to take them some time.
In the air to left. 2 of the 9th inning. The Yankees lead 7-0. And Al Albuquerque will become the 4th Royals pitcher tonight. Not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler with Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery. They're coming up after the game with director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Kevin Cedergren, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. Al Albuquerque pitching for just the 3rd time since being called up from AAA Omaha. And he'll get Aaron Judge, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Chase Headley.
Fastball slider. He's going to go low 90s with the velocity.
Slider for a strike to Judge, who is 2 for 4. He could be 3 for 4 if not for perhaps the best defensive play of the night. Mike Moustakas on a diving play at third in the third inning. Oh, and 2. Got him looking. One down in the ninth. Albuquerque is the fourth pitcher tonight. Jason Hamill went 6, gave up 5 runs, 9 hits, allowed home runs to Sanchez and Carter. Manus gave up a run in the 7th. Wood allowed a run in the 8th.
Pitch didn't look like a good strike anyway. So, but Judge just left, walked off, didn't say a word. It's what you do when you're a rookie. Cause no trouble.
Oh, and 2 on Ellsbury.
Albuquerque's got some good late life to his pitches. It's firm. When he keeps them down like that, if they hit him at all, they're going to be ground balls to the infield.
Yeah. 1 and 2 on Ellsbury. Back-to-back strikeouts for Albuquerque. And now 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. Same time tomorrow. Jason Vargas with his 1.01 ERA against Michael Pineda. Thursday, remember, is on FS1. That's Danny Duffy against Jordan Montgomery.
Pineda's not walking anybody either.
That 50 strikeouts and 6 walks.
What the heck was that? Well, it'll be interesting to see what he's got tomorrow. And our guy, Dr. Vargas, carving him up. See if he can stay on the corners. Looking forward to it. We fare pretty well against guys that throw strikes because we're hacking anyway. The more around the plate you are, the better off our offense is, I think.
One and 1 on Headley. Well, CC Sabathia came out throwing strikes tonight. And the Royals hit the ball hard in the early innings, but right into the Yankees defense.
I mean, Adam balls, really, like 5 or 6 of them.
But for the Yankees, they got a 3-run home run from Gary Sanchez in the 3rd inning and a 2-run home run from Chris Carter in the 4th. So by the 4th inning, they had a 5-0 lead, which the Royals were down on Sunday, by the way, 5-0 in the 4th inning. But Sabathia steadied himself after all those hard outs in the first few innings and ended up pitching 6 2/3 scoreless. It's 3 and 2 on Headley. Strike 3 called. Al Albuquerque comes out of the pen and strikes out the side in the 9th.
Very nice.
the ninth, Salvador Perez, Jorge Bonifacio, and Jorge Soler are coming up. And after the game, Joel and Monty are going to either be talking about one of the greatest recent comebacks in Royals history, Joel, or a disappointing night.
And a rare loss of late for the Royals. This would be just their second in 9 days. We'll talk about the tough luck. They had some hard hit balls, but CC Sabathia was dealing tonight. Jason Hamill was not, as he continues to search for answers. We'll talk to Jeff Montgomery about that, hear from Ned Yost, and get you ready for Jason Vargas' start tomorrow. That and more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live.
Thank you, Joel. This is Jonathan Holder, which is a good name for a reliever.
Yeah, it is.
Big curveball for a strike to Salvador Perez, who has his 9-game hitting streak on the line right here. He had one of those hard hit outs in the early innings. Rookie Jonathan Holder.
6'2", 235, 23 years young. Low to mid-90s in that heater of his. Sinker, cutter, curve.
Fastball struck him out. Holder is a Yankee product. You know, you think about the Yankees and the way that they spend. At the end of this year, they will be out from underneath the big contract from CC Sabathia. And Jacoby Ellsbury has a long-term contract. He is signed through 2020. All of a sudden, the Yankees are a roster of more younger players than veteran players, and not saddled with the big deals of, say, Mark Teixeira and Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. This would have been Alex Rodriguez's last year. Still paying for him, but he retired last year. So haven't been operating financially the past few years like they have for a long time. Bonifacio gets his second hit, and he's on with one out.
It's on a good slider.
Yankees are paying Alex Rodriguez $21 million this year. Just in case you're scoring at home.
Hey, look.
Speaking of scoring at home,
well,
$21 million.
Yeah. Take it.
To stay home.
That's Gorilla Glue. Whale glue is a term I learned in Montreal from Tim Wallach about money. He says it's whale glue. This guy's getting paid whale glue. And I go, what the heck?
Because glue is another word for money, right?
Right.
Yeah, I've heard you say that before.
Yeah.
He's making some good glue, right?
Yeah, that's some whale glue. It's big.
Right.
Everything you hear from me up here, I didn't make up. I promise you. Now, maybe one or two things, but most of it all been passed down.
Every day is a day is a Rex Hudler original.
Every day's a day of fall, man. I love it.
So the Yankees have some guys that are making Gorilla Glue, but after this year, they're not paying anybody making whale glue.
No.
Is that the point you're making?
I like it. Thank you for helping me out there.
Two balls, two strikes. Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins, he's making crazy glue. Okay, I'm sorry. So long, everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
Don't let me pull you.
See you
over.
tomorrow.
Don't let me pull you over on this side over here now.
Soler takes a walk. He's walked twice. He's been on base 3 times tonight. So gaining confidence. Getting his first hit in Tampa Bay, his first home run with the Royals on Sunday. So 2 on, 1 out. And now Alex Gordon. 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. 7-0 Yankees with 1 out in the 9th inning. No score. The Yankees had 2 on, nobody out in the 3rd when Gary Sanchez did that to Jason Hamill. That's our Honda play of the game.
That got them going.
You know, that just shows you again how hard Jorge Soler hit his ball on Sunday. Because that ball that Sanchez hit was hit a ton. And that got over 1 wall with a lot of help from the wind. Inside to Alex, 1 ball, 1 strike.
You were talking with Ned before the game, and you asked him about any other home runs he's seen like that, and he remembered the Mike Trout home run. That was one similar.
Headley.
Yeah.
No play, and Alex has his 2nd infield hit.
That's it. Hey, he had another swing like that earlier, and Headley caught it and threw him out, but it's the right idea. That is exactly what we're talking about. That's not pretty, but that's what gets you going. And that ball's inside.
That's his first multi-hit game since April 9th.
And that's how you do it.
Yep.
I'm glad to see it.
And now Whit Merrifield for the 2nd time in the last 3 innings with the bases loaded. When he batted in the 7th inning, the bases were loaded with 2 outs. The Royals were down 6-0 at the time and still had 2 more innings after that. And Tyler Clippard came out of the Yankee bullpen and struck him out. Got him to chase a high fastball. Yankees then added a run in the top of the 8th, and now the Royals are down to their last 2 outs. To Gregorius, out at 2nd, and no double play, and the Royals will not be shut out tonight.
Whitney wanted more.
So Witt gets an RBI, and now 1st and 3rd for Alcides Escobar. You're talking about that Mike Trout home run. Ned was telling a funny story. When the Angels came to town, Trout was hot as can be, and they were trying to figure out where to play him defensively. And Rusty Kuntz jokingly said, well, I'm going to put the left fielder up by the concession stands. I'm going to put the right fielder in the bleachers, behind the bullpen, and I'm going to put the center fielder in the fountains. And everyone kind of went, ha, 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 because that's the way Mike Trout was going at the time. Well, of course, in his first at-bat, he hit one in the fountains.
Rusty was right.
Rusty, yells down the dugout. I told you that's where we were supposed to play him. Upstairs, Merrifield will take second base on defensive indifference, and it's 1-2 on Escobar. Little pop-up. Gregorius is out. He's got it. And the Yankees take game 1 of the series 7-1. Gary Sanchez, Yankees catcher, got it started, hit a 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. And then Chris Carter, playing first base tonight, hit a 2-run home run in the 4th. And the Yankees had an early 5-0 lead. They tacked on runs in the 7th and 8th innings. Final score, Yankees 7, Royals 1. We'll be right back.